This is the Rebel Call channel. Welcome to today's show. This video is likely to get a strike because only certain people are allowed to talk about COVID-19 while other people who call it out for what it really is, of course, get silenced. So I'm letting you know now, if you're not aware, I've been uploading on a different channel. It's linked below. You can find it and search for it, called the Wake Up Call channel. I recommend, if you still want my new content, you sub, because that's where I've been uploading. And these videos are always likely to get channels, not just get, strikes, get channels removed, because you're not allowed to talk about the basic, obvious, common sense details like everything going on around COVID-19. So make sure you subscribe now if you haven't. And again, if you haven't checked out the website, I recommend you check out the website. It's linked below as well. Everybody should be a member over there, especially if you're new to all this stuff. You can watch my thousands of videos that are archived over there. I've been uploading more and more of my old content, a lot of the predictive programming that have shown us all the stuff happening now and how this has been the plan for a long period of time, exactly in regards to topics like the one I'm about to get into and how they want to get certain stuff inside of your body. And that's why you see all these people like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, the Neuralink, the nanotech, mixing man and machine, and nobody realizes it's already underway. And that's what this mass experiment is about. It's not about so much so of depopulation as it is seeing how much and how well nanotech takes inside of people's bodies. So make sure you sub to my other channel now. I also have content up over there about the debate for anybody out there that wants my take on it, linked below. If you haven't heard the news, well, let me be the one to inform you, because on this channel, I try to inform you of what's really going on. And, well, obviously, talking about a topic like this is usually one you're not allowed to discuss. But if you haven't noticed, I'm in I don't give a shark mode these days. So if you didn't hear, there's another variant. That's right. Another variant is on the rise across America. And the media machine is pumping out video after video after video, warning people out there that they may catch what they're calling the LB1 or the Flirt virus. That's right. And USA Today, the New York Times, many media outlets out there are telling people to not wait. Don't hesitate. Make sure you go and get that potion inside your body, especially if your child is as young as 6 months old. These, ladies and gentlemen, are crimes against humanity. Look at the propaganda machine pumping this out. And if at this point you're somebody who still believes this and you still are getting jacked up and putting this stuff inside your body, then you are a completely lost cause. We've all dealt with people who have obviously regretted the decision that they've made. Many people actually woke up after the fact, which is quite sad, being that most of us were warning people ahead of time that this was coming and this was planned, because this certain thing known as nano had to be inside of people's bodies. But nonetheless, at least there are some people who made that mistake and said never again. They'll never fall for it again. They can't believe that they fell for it. Could you imagine at this point seeing something like what I'm about to play for you on the news and then running to your local pharmacy? I mean, what kind of level of a lobotomy do you have to have in order to follow this propaganda? Look at this.
Tonight, for a growing number of Americans, this summer of sizzling temps is also the summer of sick. The number of COVID cases now on the rise nationwide. So far, 15 states have high or very high levels of the virus in their wastewater, according to the latest data released by the CDC.
I'd probably characterize it more as a swell. It's certainly more than we've seen in the last few months.
As people crowd indoors to escape the heat, the virus spreads. This year's uptick is thanks to the so-called Flirt variants, subvariants of Omicron, which now account for more than 60% of COVID cases.
COVID-19 is indeed becoming more mild over time. Population immunity has been going up, and therefore the severity of the illness has been going down.
And yet it's still worse than the flu.
Yes, COVID-19 is still worse than the flu. The outcomes of COVID-19 are still worse than the flu.
Doctors say the elderly and immunocompromised are still at high risk of severe disease and should consider masking in public spaces and make sure they're up to date on their vaccines. While preventative masking for healthy individuals is no longer recommended by the CDC, they say if you're infected, wearing a mask can prevent spread. As for isolating, the CDC has updated their guidance saying that if you have symptoms, stay isolated. Otherwise, you don't need to isolate even if you're testing positive. That new guidance has raised some concern among medical experts. Lester?
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
So, of course, again, right, another variant of a variant of a variant of a variant. Mutating, renamed, repackaged, and it's the same old story, right? Remember, folks, when you go and you get your dosage, that you won't become immune to anything. You're just going to get a dosage to get a dosage. You're just going to kind of get it like a battery recharge. Let's just call it what it really is, right? But you won't become immune, but it's really necessary that you go and you get it. So the CDC is tracking the growth of the LB1 variant as it begins to trail the KP3 variant. I mean, just call it the 33 variant or the 666 variant. For a 2-week period starting on June 9th and ending June 22nd, the CDC's nowcast data tracker showed the projections of the variants. The KP3 variant accounted for 33% of positive infections. Of course, we should do our own little data search and let's find out how many times a week some story comes out that we know is completely formulated, that the number in the story is 33. Of course, for anybody out there who's new to all this, 33 is their hoax code. They use 33. It's the highest degree in Freemasonry. It's the number they're obsessed with. It represents 1/3 of the fallen angels, also believed to be the age that Jesus Christ was murdered. That's right, murdered, because that's what happened to Jesus Christ, our King of Kings. So they're obsessed with the number 33. It's almost like every single story we see has the number 33 in it. I mean, we can go back and just think off the top of our heads. Anytime there's an event at a school, the address is 33, or the victim number's 33, or even in the case of Hillary Clinton's emails was 33,000. Pretty unbelievable that people don't notice, but they don't notice anything, right? Remember, they've been trained to think that everything is a giant conspiracy. So the new variant, LB1, was at 17.5% of infections, and JN1, the previous ringleader since 2023, only had 1.6 positive. The previous ringleader. I mean, how they word this stuff. I'm telling you, I've been saying it for anybody that doesn't listen all the time. I mean, these guys who come up with this stuff, these, the CIA and these secret society members, let's just call them what they are, satanic scumbags, they must really just be getting a kick out of all this stuff. Like, they've got to be in a room going, I cannot believe people actually believe this. As much as they've mastered mind control, they've got to just be like, hey, let's think of something even more ridiculous that we could say and do and watch them believe it. And then we'll tell everybody out there, the people who are calling us out are just conspiracy nut jobs. And we'll send Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel out to make fun of them. And then these morons will just go and repeat it and censor the people who are trying to help them, right? So, I mean, they have to be sitting in a room laughing because some of the stuff is just flirt virus. I mean, are you joking me? So it goes on to say, we could tell that the variant LB1 has the potential to infect some people more easily based on a single deletion in a spike protein. They go on to say that the LB1 variant is like the ones in JN1 lineage. I mean, what does any of this stuff mean other than a pile of bullcrap? And they're like, oh no, there's the scientific stuff. You don't really understand what you're talking about. No, I fully understand what I'm talking about because I fully understand what the ultimate goal is here of putting certain things inside of human beings' bodies and those big towers that are around. In fact, so much so that you get a specific warning and Google makes you take a test when you talk about these topics. They try to train people out there to not say the things that we're all talking about, which are very clear at this point. So the article in USA Today goes on to say, will this variant be as detrimental as previous variants? With the information the CDC has right now, there's no indication that the variant poses a serious risk. However, you should still run to CVS or Walgreens or Ralph's or wherever you go that has a pharmacy, Walmart, just to be sure. Don't think about what you could be putting in you and if it even helps in any way, shape, or form, because the government's already told you it doesn't help. But why would you question the government even when they tell you it doesn't do anything for you? Right? By definition, it's supposed to make you immune. It doesn't do that, but go and get it. Just do the right thing. Kill yourself, right? Unbelievable. So get a load of the symptoms. Ready? Here you go. Close your eyes and listen to the symptoms. Tell me what we're talking about here. Fever or chills, cough, shortness of breath, fatigue, body aches, headache, sore throat, diarrhea, nausea or vomiting. I mean, it sounds like, the list of symptoms if you just went to Chipotle. I mean, that's what it really sounds like. But let's be real. I mean, it's the same stuff, right? You're covering all bases. The common cold and the flu, headache, sore throat, congestion, runny nose, diarrhea, fatigue, shortness of breath, cough, and fever and chills. Yeah, that's called the flu. That's what it's called, right? This propaganda gets so bad that they actually give you a map with a list of the change in people who tested positive in the last week, right? So it shows you the whole list in alphabetical order. Oh, Arkansas, 2.3%. Arizona, 0.8%. I mean, how this propaganda works on people, that to me is really that's the hardest thing to grasp, I think, at this point, how this propaganda works, which is why I say they've got to be in a room laughing about all this stuff. I mean, the names of the variants, the amount of variants, this whole notion of mutations. And then they tell you, well, the new potion's not coming out until the fall, but everybody out there should not wait. Don't wait. And if you have a 6-month-old, you better rush them there. You better get to CVS tonight. And it's frightening that these people trust in this machine, in this system. It has done nothing but prove to them that they should have no trust in them. That's what they've proven, that you shouldn't trust them. They've done nothing to gain anyone's trust at all. But they've convinced you, of course, that the rest of us are the enemy of humanity for questioning Big Pharma, for questioning the likes of Bill Gates and all these people who put their face in front of this stuff, who also just happen to be hell-bent on talking about depopulation, nanotechnology, and how we can mix man and machine. Right? Yeah. Maybe it's time people start figuring out. If you haven't figured it out yet, really, at this point, I guess it's probably never going to happen. But it's a sad state of affairs when this type of propaganda is still being rolled out. Still, right? As if they're not taking enough joy out of people's lives. They're just still pumping this stuff out while telling you that, oh, the summers are never going to be the same ever because it's so hot. Don't go outside. Don't enjoy warm weather. The world's going to... I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible what we're allowing them to get away with. And on top of all that, of course, we all know that the Supreme Court just decided to put new laws in place to remove anybody who questions Big Brother from the internet. So I'll cover that in a separate video. But just I hope everybody out there enjoys your summer. Try not to flirt too much. They don't want you to flirt, right? The one thing they don't want you to do is flirt with the opposite sex. They want you to flirt with the same sex. And of course, they want you to flirt with the notion of going and getting something put inside your body that should not be put inside of your body. When the trumpets sound, these people will be held accountable for what they're doing and what they've done. But until then, we have to live inside of this mess and watch as people around us actually believe it and don't even realize that they've been trained to come after us and defend Big Brother, right? When all people like me and you have ever tried to do is help people wake up to this stuff, and they don't. They're actually angry about people like me and you pointing out the obvious stuff, the most basic obvious things, the make-believe game that the government is playing with you with mutations and telling you all these variants and then telling you that it doesn't even make you immune, but if you don't get it, shame on you. You're a horrible human being. It's incredible. It's incredible that they've turned all of us against one another because one side of the aisle here, the majority of people who are Democrats, all side with the political party instead of common sense. And they believe this filth and this mass genocide that's occurring. I thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all doing well. Likely to get a strike, but who cares at this point? God bless all of you as always and your families.